Well, Turkey is now resuming talks with Sweden and Finland over their NATO membership bids after it repeatedly objected to Sweden's application. The two countries need approval from Turkey to join NATO, from Hungary too, an approval that is also still outstanding. Now, Finland's parliament has voted overwhelmingly in favor of joining NATO. Finland says it's preparing to move forward alone, although it says it would prefer to join the alliance together with Sweden. DW's Alexandra von Nahmen reporting from Brussels with the latest on this new push. Alexandra, this is already the second round of talks on the bid by Sweden and Finland to join the world's biggest military organization, NATO. Have we seen any progress leading up to these talks?
Yes, NATO officials here in Brussels, as well as the governments in Helsinki and Stockholm, they say that progress has been made, and Ankara actually acknowledged that, but later they took it back a little bit, saying that it's still not enough. But the three countries have agreed on a number of measures. Finland and Sweden, for instance, promised to lift any existing arms embargoes on Turkey, and that is what happened, they say. Sweden and Finland also promised to intensify their fight against terrorism and to amend their legislations to make sure that anyone who is supporting or financing the PKK or other terrorist organizations will be punished. And Finland has introduced amendments to its criminal code, and Sweden just today put a new legislation to the parliament. So both countries are saying we are making good on our promises. Why cannot Ankara drop their objections? And actually we had a chance to visit Stockholm yesterday, and we had a chance to speak with officials there and with members of the Kurdish community there. So let's have a look at our report. Sabahat Karaduman is not a politician, but as a Kurd, she says she cannot be silent. Like many of her friends, she's worried that Sweden's Kurdish community will have to pay the price for placating Turkey and securing NATO membership for Sweden.
I don't personally think Swedish government is going to stand against Turkey and say, look, those are integrated people, those are Kurdish people, those were political asylum seekers. If Erdogan wants it and Sweden is desperate to get into the NATO, yes, I do understand, but it shouldn't be costing people who can't defend themselves.
For months now, Turkey has been blocking Stockholm's NATO bid, claiming that Sweden harbors Kurdish militants and demanding the extradition of individuals it considers terrorists. The government in Stockholm has already introduced changes to its security services and its constitution. And now a new law will be put to a vote in the parliament. Supporting or financing a terrorist organization could then be punished with 4 years in prison. Jessica Wetterling, a member of the left party in the Swedish parliament, warns there will be repercussions.
It's one of our main concerns with this proposal, that you give away a lot of the freedom in our constitution. And we think that we need to stand up for the basic principle in our constitution with the rights and the privilege that we have.
Despite that criticism, the law is likely to be approved by the parliament. But no one from the ruling coalition was willing to speak with DW ahead of the vote. The far-right Sweden Democrats who support the government were not so shy.
Of course, there has been needs for new legislation in this area and this matter, and it isn't harmful that also fulfill expectations and contribute to a better collaboration or diplomatic relations to Turkey.
But Swedish Kurdish activists question whether such a collaboration is worth risking the country's reputation as a liberal haven for refugees.
Today I am not a proud Swedish citizen, because I feel that Sweden does everything. Sweden sacrificed the identity of the country just for being a member of the NATO, and this is not good for the reputation of Sweden.
According to a recent poll, a majority of Swedes want the government not to give in to Turkey's demands. But that doesn't really comfort Sabahat Karaduman. She's concerned about what all of this means for her community. After all, she says, Sweden is now her home.
Alexandra, thanks for that report. So what about Finland? Is it likely to become a full NATO member soon, even without Sweden?
Well, Clara, this is a very realistic option, with Turkey signaling that they might be okay with ratifying Finland's application, Finland's membership, while they still have objections when it comes to Sweden. Of course, Finland and Sweden are saying that they would like to join the alliance together. This is what makes sense for the security of the region, and this is what is good for NATO. NATO officials say they don't want to split up the applications. However, they would need to accept Ankara's decision. However, we also have to stress that President Erdogan is facing a very tough re-election in mid-May, and nobody here expects any decision before that date.
Well, thank you so much for your reporting. That's DW's Brussels Bureau Chief Alexandra von Nahmen.